So welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. And today, I put it in a sort of question box for you all. And as usual, you guys gave me so many amazing topics. I've moved downstairs, got myself a green tea, and I'm so excited to do this with you guys. Today is about reinvention after 45, 50, I'm in my late 40s, reinventing ourselves as women in today's world and how the world has changed and keeping up with it, really. I mean, it's not rocket science, to be honest, girls. The fact is that we have so much today with hormones, surgery, hair color, teeth, all of these things that can keep us looking young, fresh, and up with our counterparts. And I always wondered to myself, why do we want to? Well, I mean, there are many things because, we've been taught that women over 45, to 50, we kind of may as well hang up our shoes and die because the world doesn't want us, jobs won't want us, careers, TV, I'm on TV. Well, I mean, now we're doing podcasts. That's great. You don't have to look at my face if you don't want to. You can just listen to me. How about that? All of these things now are geared to us being able to live so much longer. And it's funny that, we are living so much longer now. We're not dying in our 50s and 60s. We're not dying even on our 70s and 80s anymore. So, why wouldn't we reinvent ourselves and have the next chapter be as good as the first? And by the way, lots of people don't make it till they're in their 50s or late 40s. Lots of people. So many people are confused in their 20s and their 30s. You're building your home, your babies, you're becoming mothers, you're doing what society tells you should do, and you don't really know yourself, and you're bringing up your children. And as we know, bringing up children is incredibly stressful. I had this conversation yesterday. You're building a home with your husband, you're finding out who you are on your career path. And it's funny, the moment that you settle down and it's with friends, relationships, anything like that, and you sort of go, I don't care anymore, is actually the time that you sort of succeed too in your careers. And I think that I'm having a complete reinvention now, not on purpose. It's not like I sat here and said that, I'm going to be like Madonna and reinvent myself at 50. It's just I have. It's just that's what naturally happens. When I did my facelift and all of that, I still feel like I'm in my 20s. Like, I'll give my husband the fucking runaround, I can assure you. He's trying to keep up with me. I'm not trying to keep up with him. Having said that, this week, I do feel like I've been hit by a bulldozer. But, again, I think that's hormones. And if you find the right hormone doctor, that can also be life-changing. And I had this conversation with many of my girlfriends, and I bonded over this with so many women, Denise Richards being one of them. And, I can think of a few others that just saying, women get overwhelmed. We get tired. You've got gray hair. We're forever running to get lasers to look good. I live in Dubai. If I was worried about my old age, I'd never get anything done. And, I think getting a good beauty routine in our late 40s to 50s that you can actually handle. I mean, mine, I know looks ridiculous from the outside, but that's because I work with clinics and you don't need to do as many things as me. I think you find something that works for you. Funnily enough, I do less gym and exercise now than I've ever done, and I feel great. I took real steps to reinventing myself just because even on season 2 of the show, just looking at myself lately, when I see old clips, I really hate the way I look. And I look 10 to 15 years younger now, for sure, regardless of the facelift, by the way. The facelift absolutely, made me look fresh and young. And I think more and more people are going towards facelifts. I had just watched something on TV, not on TV, I think it was TikTok or something. Some young girl, 34 years old, had a facelift. And I was thinking, God, she's out of her fucking mind. Like, why would you have a facelift? And then I heard her reasoning. And I completely got it. Because, you know, the last 20 years or 15 years, whatever it's been, we've all been filling our faces like idiots. You know, we've all been doing filler in the boobs. I mean, I had that spread all over. Fillers in your bum, fillers in your lips, fillers in your cheeks. You know, we're so pumped up, and like this dreadful Barbie look, which I think everyone's sort of going away from, giant fake boobs anymore, you know, butts that you need to sort of park in the car before you get in. I don't think anyone wants that anymore, that shape. Even like Kim Kardashian slimmed her shape down to having a more natural shape. And I do understand that when you look at someone like the Kardashians in photos, you know, they look bloody good because it's that hourglass figure, and we're all like trying to get that tiny waist and this giant, you know, these giant curves. But actually, when you see it in real life, it looks very, very odd. And men don't love it, right? So what can we do to reinvent ourselves? You know, I think it's everything. Everything. I have not met a 40-plus-year-old woman, not one, in the last few years that hasn't been on some sort of self-discovery journey. It's really weird. It's so clockwork that, you know, it's almost like boring. Because I sit down and I'm like, I was so proud of myself for finding myself and finding my mojo. And then I listen to all my girlfriends going, oh, I'm off to go and do my cold plunge. And then I've got healing in the afternoon. And then I've got a sound bath in the evening. And I'm like, what the fuck? We all sound like broken records, absolute broken records. You know, and it's like, it's textbook. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not actually being, what do I want to say? We're being, you know, when you're one off, we're not being special and finding a path on our own. We're following the bloody path again. So we've hit 40 and we're going on this self-discovery thing. Come on, let's all, you know, get on a plane to Shiva Song. No. You know, so it's funny that everyone's jumped on this health and wellness bandwagon, which I'm on. I'm on it, but I'm on it in my own way, right? So I wish I could say that we were all it was just, you know, us finding our unique path. We're not. Somehow we've been fed that this is what women do in their 40s to 50s, and this is the journey that we have to go on. You know, mostly my girlfriends have either been married 20 plus years, the children are about to leave home, so obviously they've woken up with their husbands and they either realize they love them or they hate them, or they're, you know, these women who are struggling in some capacity to understand who they are without their kids, or, you know, they've woken up and found, you know, someone's cheating on the other one. All of these things are making them look deep inside at lives on their own. And do you like who you are? Right? Which is what I've been trying to say from a long time, because all of you were like, oh, you didn't need a facelift. And why did you do Ozempic? You know, and like, you're so under pressure from other people. And this is everybody else telling you something. And it must be because you've got a young husband. And it's none of the above. It really was as simple, as I said, as wanting to do all these things for myself, because of course you can give in to old age, and there's nothing wrong with giving in to old age, right? Nothing. I don't believe that you should spend our life fighting it. But I do believe that life is for living, and I believe that I'm just getting started. And most women I know have this sort of like complete bolt-type upright moment of like, well, especially meeting me. I don't know what it is I do, but everyone sort of trundles up to me and tells me their problems, their lifelong issues, or things that they want to achieve that haven't. And the one thing I would always say to you ladies is just fucking do it. Stop talking about it and do it, right? Do whatever you need to do. If you're feeling overweight, lose it. If you can't lose it, take the pills. You know, if you feel like you've got wrinkles all over your face, use Botox. If you can't do that, have a facelift. You know, you don't have to like justify this to anyone, right? You don't have anyone today. What makes me or any, you know, what makes a roller that you put in the freezer the right way to do it? Because society's telling you that you shouldn't have a facelift. Do whatever the fuck you want. Cher said something which really, really, really made me giggle. And I was like, God, she was ahead of the time. She is 70 years old. And someone said to her the other day, but you've had a lot of facial surgery. And she just looked at her and she goes, well, I've had some. But she goes, if I want to stick my tits to my back, I will. And she's absolutely right. Like, who are you to tell me what to do with my body?
Who is anyone to tell you what's right for you? Like, if you want to take Manjaro or have a tummy tuck or stick your breasts on your back, that's your prerogative at this stage in our lives, right? We're not in our 20s anymore. We don't need, a girl gang to make us feel powerful. And actually, that's something I said in one of my other podcasts the other day about not feeling enough without the man. A lot of women today are waking up without a man. A lot of women are waking up without a man everywhere, just because of the length of time that now we're living, right? We're having to find men. Life partners very hard to find someone to stick with you for 100 years or 80 years, right? So a lot of women are finding themselves on their own. A lot of women are finding that, what does that look like? And I'm following quite a few women in their 50s, empowering women. And they're like, and I don't even know why I'm watching, but I'm loving the style and the dancing and the feeling for life, right? Because I have amazing feeling. I'm about to start, when my boys have only got, what are they now? They're 14. So they've got 4 years left with me, really, that they're going to want to be here. 4 years. And then I better bloody love myself and have a good time, right? My husband had better like who I am, because we're going to be spending a lot of time together, and we already spend a lot of time together, but actually we spend all our time together. And I never understood what marrying your best friend meant until now, because everything is funny. Like last night I spent, I don't know, half an hour pushing him off a step, just because it was fucking funny. He was getting more and more annoyed, but he never learns. Like every time he rolls over in bed, I still kick him out of bed. Every night I kick him out of bed. Every single night. I don't know why he leans over to get stuff off his side table, but it just gives me so much joy. And I don't want to lose that. Like the moment I can't kick him out of bed, I may as well hang up I don't know, I was put on this planet to annoy my husband. He was put on this planet to annoy me. That's it. And I was thinking, when you have that kind of relationship, nothing else matters. And I think that's what a lot of people, because they've married the wrong things, or don't know who they are as people, it's very hard to look at your husband and like him for all the things that you like in yourself, right? So I like practical jokes, but I don't think all of these practical jokes would have gone down very well with my ex-husband. If I had kicked him out of bed every night on the floor, he would have lost his fucking shit. Again, doesn't make him a terrible person. Most people would have lost their shit by now. But that makes Sergio laugh. Not always, but makes me laugh, and that's enough. But, so it's just finding the yin to your yang and realizing that, looking good is for you, right? You get a whole new lease of life, because I know it's stupid, but people do judge you differently when you let go, because it kind of peters through into your whole life. If you've let go of the way you look and the way you take care of yourself, well, that pretty much, what does your home look like? What does your work ethic look like? Because, that's what it would tell me, that you don't care anymore, right? And that you've given up. I'm going to be wearing mini skirts, heels, doing my power squats, traveling the world. My husband and I are looking at apartments anywhere we can now in the sun for our old age, along with Bali, along with actually looking at doing a phase 2, because all of you guys, I didn't know that, but when I, put this out on my podcast, all of you guys seem to be looking for the same thing as me too, which is a community to live in when we're old, right? That we don't need to have a husband if we don't have one. But if we have one, great. And if we don't, we'll have like-minded people to grow old with, right? Because at the end of the day, you need the big house now. I don't need a Bentley when I'm 80. That's for sure. Like, I'll probably need a smart car. Don't need a Bentley. Don't need this house. All 9,000 square feet of it. I don't need it. Probably need an apartment. And that's the great thing. So instead of, I think the old me was always like worrying about like achieving all these giant homes and, traveling and doing all that and realizing, and for my old age, but actually it's not for my old age, it's for now. My old age, I'll just stay here. So, I think the number one things, or the way to start with reinventing yourself, is make yourself the person. There must be someone your age that you kind of admire. There must be someone whose style you like. There must be someone whose life you like. I mean, most of you follow me because, my reinvention since Ladies of London is something that, so you either enjoy, or there are parts of it that you've liked, or you want to know why, or how I did it, right? So, it should never, ever define our capacity for growth, right? So growth and our age doesn't define our capacity for growth. Growth can happen at any stage in our lives. And in fact, I feel like I'm having the biggest awakening ever. And I think that's what people call it. It's an awakening, right? And I think all of us women are going through it. And, the number one thing, and I've said it before, which is fear holds us back. Fear of the unknown. How do we let go of fear of the unknown? You walk straight into it. You walk straight into whatever scares you. And if that's one of the number one things I can advise all of you, if you want to do something, do it, right? What's the worst that can happen? Someone laughs at you. It fails. So what? So what? It's the biggest learning curve ever. The best, most successful businesses I've ever had have come after a failure, because it's how you deal with things. You can't learn to deal with things from only success in life, right? And following my gut. My husband wanted to ask something of one of our investors today, or his partner actually, and I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. I just want an easy life. I don't want to rock any boats anymore. I want an easy life with friends and partners that are happy, that, don't feel squeezed, that don't feel, taken advantage of in any part of my life. And just because it's all happened to me, and that comes from growth and hindsight. Making deals with people that they renege on halfway through, all of these things, people fucking you, these all teach you valuable lessons. And you can't have these lessons before you're 50. Really, you don't. You need a shitload of them to understand where you are in life today. So ladies, 50, could be your biggest awakening yet. Certainly going to be mine. And mine's just beginning, because God knows what Bali's going to lead to. We're already looking at another site. That's how exciting it is for us. And it doesn't have to be Bali for you. I'm absolutely not telling you all to rush off to Bali and do this. I'm telling you to go find your fucking Bali. Whatever Bali is for you, go and do it. Success looks very different today. The trouble is Instagram's made it look like, you have an Urus or, a Bentley or a, nice house and you're successful. That's bollocks, okay? Instagram, you can rent them, you can, make it look like, I heard that there's some empty plane somewhere in Dubai that, influencers go and take pictures on. So it looks like they're on a private jet. That's ridiculous. So you need to be able to learn to embrace change. And actually, Sergio and I did a podcast on this the other day, just saying our number one tip is learning to pivot, right? Learning to move with the times. Everything moves so fucking fast here. If you don't move with it, you get left behind. And at 50, the only thing I'm getting left behind on today really is if I think about what can't I do, I probably can't do the tech side that my husband does. But if you don't have a Sergio, you can hire it. Our minds are working better than ever. We are looking like we're in our 40s. You know, you can control your weight, you can control your hormones. You know, these are things that weren't around 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was. Stem cells, hormones, peptides, all of these tools are out there to make us live longer, you know, live like we're still in our 30s. Why shouldn't you all go out there and have amazing relationships? There's no reason to stay in something that's stale, that's not serving you, that's dragging you down, that's killing you. A bad relationship kills you. And that's not a joke. Like, I literally mean it. Stress can kill you. The importance of evolving all the time, even if you've had a successful business, girls. Maybe you've got a really successful business in your 30s. Doesn't mean to say it was going to be successful in your 50s. People are coming up behind you all the time. You need to reinvent yourself regardless. You can never get comfortable. You should never get comfortable. There's always someone coming up behind you. Everything in my life is flying the right direction right now. The one thing I think Sergio and I haven't got a grip on right now is the starting of Bust the Label, right? This is something that we've thrown in there because we believe in them, we use them, we love the products, and we're going to be expanding on them. But, you know, I'm thinking to myself, why have we done this? The shipping is a fucking nightmare. I'm actually telling all of you that live in Australia or here, don't buy from us, you know, you can get it somewhere else, which is nuts. Because I'm like, the shipping's too much. Like, all of the problems that I'm going back into, which is funny from my gift library days, but I'm not going to give up because I don't give up, right? That's not who I am. I'm focusing on the States right now, and I just make it smaller to begin with, which is annoying because, you know, all of you guys are so, you know, spread out. I have fans in England, Canada, I mean, all over the world. They're super sweetly wanting my gratitude journal or that. And I'm having to say, you know, those of you that are buying them in America, thank you very much. Those of you that want to buy them in England probably don't. You know, go and get your one and start writing and follow me the other way until I can get them to England. You know, I don't want to I want you to feel authentically attached to me. I'm not going to sell you things, you know, and make you pay the same in shipping until I fucking figured it out. And I will figure it out, by the way. So just give me some time. But, you know, my point is nothing good in life comes easy, right? Nothing. And just because one thing I'm doing is, you know, going really well and we're really enjoying it, other bits aren't. And it just takes a bit longer. But that's no need to throw in the towel. People throw in the towel too soon. People want things or want things to be easy. Nothing worth having is easy. You know, you need to reinvent all your relationships in life, by the way. Okay, so when you get to your 50s, maybe your kids are grown up. You need a smaller house. I don't know. Maybe you have all your kids are in university. Maybe you're tighter than normal on money. Maybe, you know, you need to look at how to reinvent your business, your marriage, your relationship with your kids, because it's different. You become more of a friend than a parent, maybe. All of these things, you know, maybe you're becoming a grandparent. What do they look like for you? And I think the best way to do is to map those out so it doesn't overwhelm you. I was having this conversation with a girlfriend of mine actually today who has a sick child. And therefore, you know, she needs to look at how to reinvent her whole life so that she can have a life with her husband, right? Again, sometimes it's really hard to do. It's much easier for a third party to see it because they're not in it. You're not overwhelmed by it because you just simply don't know where to start. But once you write it down and visualize it, that's what these boards are, then you're like, oh, it's that simple. Okay, I don't go on any date nights, you know, and I was lying in bed with Sergio last night and he was saying, he showed me a TikTok where it said, you know, to keep your relationship alive. And I realized now, well, I realized then that, you know, obviously Sergio works so hard at our relationship every day. Every fucking day that man works on our relationship. And I probably take it for granted and do less and less and less because he does it. But like I have to think about things he wants to do. Like my initial reaction of when we're going away, it's like, oh, I don't want to go away again. I don't need another holiday. We've just booked like God knows how long. I think 10 days to Thailand for our anniversary. Okay, I was like, oh, I don't need to go. I don't know. It's near Christmas. I don't want to go. And Sergio's like, it's our wedding anniversary. It's the most important day in the year. And then I'm like, bless him. That is like his most important day. Like he wants to remember that. How special is that? Most men forget anniversaries. And I'm like most men, right? He really wants to make it special. So why am I taking that joy from him? You know, why would I ruin that? Like, so now we're going off on this tour. We're going to like some elephant resort in a bubble. I can't wait to take you all with us. We're going on a boat. We're going to a health retreat. We're going, like, it's going to be amazing. And so I changed my view on it, because not only will it be amazing, but it's an experience. Who knows when I'll become incapacitated in some way or won't be able to travel, or if something happened and I can't travel again. I need to take those moments and live those moments with him. And, that's something that makes Sergio so happy, to make me happy, to make himself, and to have all these experiences. He's very, very grown up in some respects like that. He always loves to have experiences and travel. And I thought it was a luxury. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity, people. It's a necessity for your mental health and for your growth. You can do it in any which way. You don't need to be staying in 5-star luxury, but you need to see the world. You need to see the fucking world and see how other people live and see how lucky you are. And I think, we can get lazy in our 50s. I mean, I get, when I'm at home, I become much lazier, obviously, because it's like my whole body knows I'm home, and I just sort of give in and go, I'm sitting in my favorite chair right now. And I love this chair. I could sit here all day. And it's so important in your 50s to stay energized. What does that look like, right? Because it's hard work to stay energized in your 50s. It really is. It's easy to become lazy. And I'm seeing I'm seeing girlfriends and people I work with. This is the woman I work with, and she just went to Burning Man in her 60s. And, I'm look at my best friend Michael. He's like had his facelift. He works harder than ever. He doesn't need to work again. He's not working because he needs to work. He's working because it keeps him alive. Because I think the moment that man stops working, he'll probably pop off. Just like my dad, right? My dad, literally, from the moment he was so into it. I know so many people like this that work and work and work, and the day they just give up. They sit in the chair and you never get out. Now I'm in my chair. I understand why you never get out. So what do I do to revitalize myself? I book Pilates, okay? I mean, I've cancelled every day this week. I haven't been very good because I've ended up taking meetings tomorrow. I've got to go to the supermarket. The kids are home. I wasn't expecting them to be home this week, so hadn't planned anything, and I've got to go and do all that. But like, I'm swapping it for meetings. But like Sergio tries to get me to play paddle at night or go for a walk, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm exhausted at the end of the day. And then I'm angry at myself because I should have just gone to play paddle with him for half an hour. Like literally, why am I not walking to paddle and playing with Sergio? I have a gorgeous young hot husband who wants to play paddle with me, and I'm almost 50. Like, I don't know a 50-year-old woman that wouldn't swap places with me in a fucking heartbeat. In fact, most of you write to me to let me know that, that how amazing life is, right? Because I genuinely have a young man who's 30 now, who is willing to kick me out of bed every day to get up to do stuff with him. Like, how amazing is that? Who gets that? I know. I don't know. I have a ton of mid-30s, early 40-year-old women who don't have that. I have that. So, I think it's so important that you remember what you do have and not to let it go. And it's probably like reminding myself as I sit here. And I want, I think my biggest message is that it's so important not to let yourself go, or to say, you've got it, but I can't have it. that's bollocks. What makes me more special than you? Nothing. Absolutely nothing makes me more special. Only my own belief in myself. My husband didn't know what I had or who I was when he met me. He was a 24-year-old. Like, he certainly hadn't watched Housewives. He certainly hadn't seen where I lived. And certainly, you know, I don't know. He was, it just wasn't, it's not why he's here. And we've always talked about, money and things like that. I don't believe you can buy a human. I don't. It may start that way for some people, but I don't believe they stay. So, I want you to know that 50, although it sounds like such a giant number, it can be your best chapter yet. I had a call yesterday from my fertility doctor, and we're still talking about this, egg I've got, because I said, oh, maybe I'll do another round. And he actually said to me, no, I don't think you're going to get another round. This is it for you. So I was like, oh, okay. So he said, you've got to use the egg you've got. And I've got a really good egg, and it's amazing and it's perfect. It's just, I've got to find the person to carry that egg. Anyone knows anyone out there, do DM me. Sergio would like you to live with us. God. No kidding. I don't want anyone living with me, but it's really difficult. But how crazy is that? So I'm going to be 50 in less than 2 years. I will be building a new life in Bali for my old age. I will be on Housewives. I will be doing, hopefully I'm going to do a book, my tips to all of you. I've got my podcast. I've got what part of this shows me slowing down? Nothing at all. Bust the Label next. I'm building that right now. And that's a startup. That's bloody hard work. I'm interviewing right now for help here for Bust the Label. We're looking at all our deals in America. It's really exciting. I really see this could be my best chapter yet. There is no reason that I couldn't enjoy this time of my life more than any other time in my life. And, I'm 7 years in or 6 years in with Sergio. What is it? He was 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 6 years in. And we both feel, because of our life experiences and the chapters and the things that we're doing right now, we both feel more in love today than the day we met. That's pretty fucking special. Like, that is amazing. I don't have 1 minute of regret or boredom and, anything really. I think reinvention is a continuous journey. It doesn't just happen. It's not something that you go, I'm going to reinvent myself today and it's over. It is continuous. Every day you need to make a step. One step. Even if you're tired, right? And you feel like life is overwhelming and you've got, everything else to do. So reinventing yourself really isn't top of your priority list. Do one thing. Do one thing for me today that is different. I've still got things on my list that I'm angry with myself that I haven't done. Right? I promised myself I was going to remove my phone from my bedroom at night. What time will that happen? I don't know. And it still hasn't happened. That's my next step on my reinvention. And then I have another one. What was the other one? I think that one's going to be really good for me because I scroll mindless shit instead of spending time with my husband. He always says, I'm there, but I don't listen to him. And that's something my kids have said to me before too. So that's going to be my next reinvention. And number 2, what do I want? I really wanted to go away with my kids on my own. But they're 14, and I think kids today are different. And, we made all these plans, and then they cancelled. So it is what it is. So I think number 2 on my reinvention list would be to get back into working out again, like getting, not for my body, but for my soul, right? So if you don't have a gym membership, you have YouTube. Everybody has YouTube. Everybody has food at home. You can use food as weights. Just in your 50s, it's massively important. Move the serotonin. It's the equivalent of having sex. And if you can have sex, obviously have sex, but also work out. The most important thing, I think, for me is the back of my arms, my inner thighs, moving the serotonin and feeling happy. When I do all of those things and stand in the sun for 5 minutes, and I want to go back out there. Oh, you see, there I am again. It's just so annoying. I start and then I don't finish. Every morning I want to sit on that sun lounger in the sun for 10 minutes and just drink my tea. The peace of listening to that water is wonderful. And I think that's another key part of life, is not only reinventing yourself and doing one thing that you need to do, but it's also doing less. Do less today. Stop thinking about everybody else and start thinking about yourself. How you're going to reinvent yourself this week and take one step towards the new you. I'm really looking forward to hearing how this goes for all of you, and I will keep you up to date on my new reinvention. And by the way, it can also be fun stuff too, right? You can get your hair dyed. I've always wanted to try it, like this coppery red, but then I don't have the balls to do it. Maybe for next series, if we get series 3, when we get series 3 of Housewives, then I'll do it. There's my reinvention. There's so many different ways you can reinvent yourself today, and all of them are quite exciting and fun and different. You know, if you don't see your girlfriends, go for it. You know, I'm going on my first girls' lunch in a very long time on Tuesday. I'm excited. And no, Sergio can't come. Make the list. Take the step. And let me know how it goes. Thank you for listening to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really makes a difference.